I wanted to ask Americans what they truly think about Trump.
He's just part of the game. He's just a puppet. Yeah, just a puppet. I mean, Biden and Trump, Reagan, Obama, they're just part of the same thing.
Just pieces of the chessboard.
Yeah, just confusing this group, making this group mad at this group.
Hey, Trump a G, man. Right. Trump a G, man.
I think he's encouraging hate and anti-democratic views that go against this country as a whole.
We're the only country that has any money at all that has the term medical bankruptcy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Washington, D.C. This is not professional Kevin, not the Kevin that asks women on the street, preferably in Miami, if size matters. I'm gonna try to be serious and appropriate and professional. Things I'm not. So let's see how good I could do. I'm gonna ask people, preferably Americans, what they truly think about Trump. But yeah, that's White House, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if maybe Trump would let us go in, you know? Maybe I'll speak to him, fucking Charlie Kirk. Tell Charlie Kirk that he could have took finasteride and help his hairline like how I did to mine.
Oh, yeah,
all right, that was not, yeah.
Zoom in now.
Yeah, look at that. Woo! All right, let me fucking stop. I literally came all the way from Florida to Washington, D.C. We're outside of the White House right now. I actually heard Trump's here right now. Is that true? I don't know if you know.
I'm not sure about that.
I just overheard somebody. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, my God. Anyways, I wanted to ask Americans what they truly think about Trump.
Okay.
So he's been in office for a little over 100 days now. What do you think about him?
I am Ukrainian, so the biggest issue that faced me when he came into office was the war.
Okay.
And he made a promise that he would end it in one day, which hasn't came true.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of tension between both of the countries, and he's trying to lower it.
Between Ukraine and the U.S. or
Ukraine and Russia.
Okay, Ukraine.
And then, so it is hard to come to an agreement in one day, which was a bullish promise that he made.
So would you say he made a lot of like bold statements that were kind of unrealistic to happen in the time frame he made it?
Yeah, the time frame is, but he has shown that he's putting effort into it. He had a meeting with Zelensky and Putin, and the second he used to be friends with Putin, like very close.
Yeah,
but
2016 era,
but
right?
Currently, I think I looked at the news. There is a tension now where they're having these meetings, but there's still bullets being shot and missiles are launched.
Yeah, I heard that like Putin the other day like pulled out of a meeting or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's a little crazy.
I think Trump is bold, and he is very assertive, and I think that's a good thing. That's what we needed from a president.
So I literally fucking got in a car, went to the airport, flew here all the way just to ask you two specifically this question.
That's an honor. Okay.
What are your thoughts on Trump, truly? I'm asking Americans what their thoughts are on Trump.
Well, I think he is a businessman, but I don't think he's a good man.
You don't think he's a good man?
No, I think he's honestly a sexist, a racist.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. We're starting off.
I'm not.
All right, what about you?
I don't know.
Okay, what about you?
I try not to really get into politics that much. I feel like he's a businessman, like trying to like improve the economy. Just his way about like going about everything is like not my cup of tea, but
yeah, I feel like he does things for show.
For show.
Not actually for the people.
Not for the people.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think, if you had to pick or choose, like, do you think he's a net positive or net negative for the country?
I think he's a little embarrassing.
He's a little embarrassing.
Like, as other countries looking into our country, I feel like they're like, what is up with this president? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good look, I feel.
Yeah, I just feel like we're kind of going backwards in time a little bit with some of the stuff that he's trying to get done. So, just don't really... a little embarrassing, yeah. I'm a huge traveler, and I love traveling, and like when I go to other countries and stuff, they're like always wanting to know about Trump, and like they're always making fun of him.
Isn't that interesting?
A lot of other countries don't like Americans, and I'm like, I wonder why.
I've always noticed, though, that was very interesting that, like, this is only a recent thing since Trump even became in the picture of politics. Like, the whole world's talking about him.
No.
I don't know if this happened before.
I mean, that's what he wants, though. I feel like he wants like the publicity.
All eyes are coming here, but is it negative or is it positive, the way that they're looking at us? I guess we'll never know.
Well, let me ask you this. Like, what do you have to say to people who were to say that Trump's first 100, it's been 30 days, something like that, in office now, in his second term. Some say that he's already done more than Biden's last 4 years. What would you say about that? Would you agree, disagree?
I think there were a lot of things that money was going into that made no sense. I don't even remember a lot of the things, but I feel like he came in and went straight to business, but I don't really know everything he's done.
I mean, I know he definitely took, my mom's working in education. I know there's definitely a lot of money that's taken away from education. And I know he definitely tried to fire like half the government to get who he wants in the government. But again, I'm being a little too honest, so maybe don't include all of this.
Okay.
But that's just how I feel.
So then if you had to say, like, who would you preferably, like, to be in office then? Like, if you were to go back in time, like Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, would you prefer Kamala Harris or would you still go with Trump or somebody else?
I would still go with Kamala Harris just because I think anything is better than Trump. That's
better than Trump.
I have to say.
What about you?
Honestly, I voted Green. I was just like, I would rather neither, because I thought I didn't think either of them would really.
It's a very hard decision. It really is, because it's like, can we have someone that's like under 50, like
under 50
running for president that like is in our generation? Like
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, I think that's how we feel.
Since we're, like outside the White House, like, what are your thoughts around Trump?
He's just part of the game. He's just he's one of those that I've got a tape of some Catholic actors quoting some of the past popes that all princes should kiss the feet of the Pope. He's just a
puppet.
He's just a puppet. Yeah, just a puppet. I mean, Biden and Trump, Reagan, Obama, they're just part of the same thing.
Just pieces of the chessboard.
Yeah, just confusing this group, making this group mad at this group, and they're partying while they're living it up.
Okay.
And enjoying their life with plenty of money while other people's homeless.
So let me ask you, what do you think the necessity of that is? Like, why do you think they need to have like somebody to just play like this like role?
Well, that was God's plan, like in Deuteronomy 28 again. 28:49 it says, because if Israel won't listen to my commandments, instructions is a better word, I'm going to send this people to rule over them, the Trumps, the popes of past, and they're going to mock you with a tongue you don't understand, and that's, again, has to do with the music and the movies and everything else.
Excuse me, can I interview you?
Who are you with?
Myself. I'm just documenting, asking political questions. I saw your sign. I don't know, it just intrigued me. I wanted to interview, if you don't mind.
It depends. Okay, what? Go ahead.
Well, so your sign says deport Trump to El Salvador. Okay. So basically, this video that I'm asking is like what Americans truly think about Trump. So I'm assuming you're not for Trump.
I'm not a fan.
Okay. So, like, what is it about him that is just not your taste?
Well, they're kidnapping people off the street and sending them out of the country without a chance to prove that they actually are here legally.
Okay.
That's what I'm against.
All right, so it's just more so just immigration and deportation.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And
that's what I'm about today.
That's what you're about today. All right. So what is your goal today? To just?
Oh, I'm done. That's all I really want to say.
Oh, that's all you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I sensed a lot of anger. I was just getting started. I was gonna like ask her some fucking questions, but yeah, man. I mean, welcome to DC, everybody.
Personally, I feel like it's a representation of the same like fascist, xenophobic bullshit that.
So you think he's a fascist?
Yeah, I think he's encouraging hate and anti-democratic views that go against this country as a whole.
Okay, and what about you?
I agree completely. One of the most interesting things that we did yesterday, we went to the Holocaust Museum, and it was just fascinating to see how they were remembering such a horrible thing that happened while also exhibiting those same values today with immigration laws and things like that. So it's eye-opening to be here, for sure.
Okay. In terms of immigration, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the policies that he's implementing, like closing the border completely? Like, do you agree? Do you disagree?
I mean, I disagree. This is a nation of immigrants as a whole. I mean, my family's not from here. Is yours? Are you Native American?
I mean, European, I guess, from European descent. Yeah.
I mean, it's all immigrants, and picking and choosing which ones you want to keep is just racist.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they're contributing members to our economy and all that.
All right. What do you have to say to people who were to say, like, Trump's last 100 days in office was better than Biden's like last 4 years? Would you agree? Would you disagree? To the people who say that.
I mean, better or worse is a relative term. I mean, personally, I feel like the direction this country is going politically is similar to those that have, like, kind of like Nazi Germany in the past, where you like see, you're starting to deport a lot of, people and spread more hate than, try to actually unite the country.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. There's not that many changes that can be made in 100 days. So people saying like, oh, the economy is better. Like Trump really hasn't done that much yet. Not that much has gone into effect. The only things that have gone into effect have been negative and racist and sexist and homophobic and all of those things.
All right. If you had to go back in time, would you prefer Kamala Harris to be elected? Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And then if you had to pick overall, if you could just like pick and choose who could be in office right now, like who would it be? Would it be her or would it be somebody else?
Yeah, someone who doesn't want the power.
Someone who doesn't want the power.
I think it should be her. I mean, I don't know of anyone else who would be running right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Michelle
like
Obama would be a good pick. Like,
anyone that's not actively trying to deport everyone and start a genocide. So, yeah.
So hate won't make America great. Do you think America was ever great?
Absolutely. We were on the right path. I think that's the only way you can define greatness, if you're moving in the right direction. Nobody ever gets to the end of that. No saint, no individual, no country. But if you're moving in the right direction, that's great.
So let me ask you, what does this sign for you mean? Like, what is exemplifying hate for you in this country?
Well, in this country, I started this during Mr. Trump's first administration.
Okay.
The main thing when I first started carrying the sign, my parents were childhood immigrants from Eastern Europe. When he was absolutely negative about immigrants, and we got to remember, he said he always speaks wildly, but what he said was, they're all criminals, they're all drug dealers, they're all rapists. That's what he said. Now, later he backtracked. Said, no, I didn't mean all. But when the president or somebody who wishes to be president speaks that way, it tells me he doesn't value an essential part of this country, which is our structure of bringing immigrants together and benefiting from doing that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is he's a racist. Times when he was campaigning, I think, is before he was president, there was a race-motivated killing in Charlottesville. And he said, and I quote this because I remember it, there were good people on both sides. Now, certainly there probably were people swept up in the moment. But if you're going to be presidential and you're speaking about a race riot and the killing of people because of race, then you don't have the luxury of misspeaking. You've got to speak precisely because you're going to be representing me. So that. Now, more currently, some of these programs he is backing, some of his beautiful budget, includes cutting 10 million people, poor people, off of access to medical care through eliminating Medicaid, and additional millions more by cutting out food stamp programs and food assistance programs for the poor. When somebody behaves that way, they're not American to me. That's not core American values. So I protest that. Have you ever heard of Medicaid? It's literally 15 million people who are going to be affected by these cuts in Medicaid. And they're the most needy of our country. They are needy elderly people who won't have access to care, and they are needy children who need expensive care for various physical conditions. That's the core of the problem. And he just says, okay, well, it's going to save money. Now, I don't think he's really going to be able to follow through on that because I think the Republican Party is going to pay a terrible political price for backing cuts in programs. I'm fine. I have good retirement income. I earned a good professional living when I worked. I'm not worried about myself. But I sure as heck am worried about the parents. My parents are long gone. But about the parents of my friends. about my friends themselves, should something happen, even about myself, because I have some money put away. But as you probably know, long-term medical care for somebody who's elderly and needs a facility, you got to be super rich to be able to afford that for any
Medical care in general in the country is a little...
Well, I speak to Europeans all the time, and one of the things they come up and say, let me get this straight. If I break my leg, I have to go into debt to have my leg fixed?
Yeah.
What, are you really telling me that?
Yeah.
It's nonsense. For a rich country, poor countries don't have choices. We're a rich country, and we don't have the priorities right.
What do you think the solution to that could be? Because, like, for instance, like Canada, you know, like, supposedly it's free healthcare, but, you know, you do have to have half of your check revoked from you every...
The way that the Scandinavian countries, the Western European democracies, Canada, those countries, they have very high taxes compared to ours. The Scandinavian countries in particular are just outrageous. Flat taxes right across the board. Nobody escapes them.
Yeah.
And then they get the medical care, of course. Also, if you have children in a Scandinavian country, you don't worry about the cost of all the way through university for your children. So it's all included. We're the only country that has any money at all that has the term medical bankruptcy. For us, it's a pretty common term. People go bankrupt because they're paying for medical care. So you can take care of that by getting rid of the profit motive in medical care. And Bernie Sanders, who I like, but he's too old to be anything other than Bernie Sanders, but from my point of view. But Bernie Sanders looks at that situation and he just says, we need Medicare for all. In other words, right now, if you get to a certain age, then the federal government takes over at least a good deal of your potential medical expenses. Well, he says we need that for everybody, because we are way off track now from what the promise of this country is.
All right, well, I appreciate it. That's pretty much it. So,
Thank you very
nice
much.
meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.